When you're trying to develop a better forehand, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's about identifying the underlying problem with your forehand at the moment and then working on addressing that underlying problem until it's done. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is a little bit of video analysis. I'm going to show you some footage from someone who very kindly sent me their videos to use, and I'm going to explain how to think through the problems that they're dealing with at the moment. Now, this person is 43 years old. They've been playing tennis for around 2 years. They improved at the start, and now they've got to the point where they're a little bit frustrated because things are plateaued. So we're going to dive in and take a look. I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I would work on and how I would approach working on it, and then I'm going to leave different resources down below to help you with the different aspects that we talk about. If you find it helpful, it'd be great if you could give me a thumbs up. Always appreciated if you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. And if you would like me to use your videos and do an analysis like this, then I'm always looking for people if you want to kind of make a comment about that down below, and then we can connect and figure out that side of things. So let's take a look at things from the side. We'll watch in real speed. I'll give some context, and then we'll break things down and talk about what he might need to focus on. Because he's been playing for a couple of years, he improved at the start, but now he feels like he's kind of plateaued and he's feeling a little bit frustrated. So in terms of his matches, he feels like things fall apart. So he practices well, or he feels like he practices well, but then when he gets into a match situation, sometimes he's hitting good shots, but most of the time he's really inconsistent, making too many errors and hitting weak balls. And this is something that a lot of players can relate to. And I actually think he's got fantastic intentions, and he's done a great job at analyzing his own weaknesses, because he tells me that he is struggling with preparation. He's not very good at reading the flight of the ball, kind of judging the speed, judging the distance. He knows he gets too close to the ball, and he knows he's struggling with timing, hitting the ball late a lot of the time. And that's exactly what I'm seeing. So he's done a fantastic job analyzing his own game. And I think he's got really good intentions, and he's working on a lot of the right things. So when you look at someone, it's not always just about criticizing everything they do and, putting him up against Roger Federer and saying, this is what Federer does, this is what you do, you're doing things wrong, because he's only been playing tennis 2 years. He's doing a lot of stuff right. If we take a look, he's trying to use a modern style forehand. A lot of good things happening there. He's low, he's wide, so he's looking athletic. His preparation looks good. So he's taken the racket back using his non-dominant hand. He's got a lovely quality unit turn, so he's got his upper body turned, he's loaded his torso, he's got a good coil, he's loaded this back leg, he's got his pelvis pointing to the side, this racket's in a nice position, he's got his elbow a decent distance away from his side. So many good things going on there. But we've got a couple of key problems with him. And it's going to stem from his preparation, but the two problems leading to inconsistencies are he is getting too close to the ball, which means that a lot of the time he's kind of pulling off the ball, he's having to compensate and he's having to arm it, and he's hitting the ball too late, which again means he can't efficiently use his kinetic chain. So in this one, if we look at that contact point, we can see it's a little bit late, and that's partly because he started the swing too late. So the ball is, here before he's really starting his forward swing. So, you could try and swing faster, but swinging really quickly as hard as you can every time after 2 years isn't necessarily the best plan either, because hitting with maximum power is a much higher level skill. So he didn't start his swing soon enough, but he also set up too close to the ball, and the combination of which means that he's not able to efficiently use his kinetic chain. You can see he doesn't fully get his pelvis pointing forwards, it's still on an angle. His body isn't pointing forwards, it's still on an angle. He's had to arm it and kind of pull across himself to make up for the spacing and starting the swing late. And I'm pointing, he's aware of this stuff. This is what he's identified himself. I'm just letting you know so that you can start to think through these problems well. Next one. Again, preparation looks good. All the things that we've just described, we're going to see a similar problem. He's just about to start his forward swing there, and that's where the ball is. He just doesn't allow enough time. And because of that, he's not able to, again, use his kinetic chain effectively. And he's having to force it and arm it to make up the distance. So again, that's just a case of starting the swing too late. And we're going to see this over and over again. He either started the swing too late or he got too close to it. So on that one, he started the swing at a slightly more reasonable time. The contact point is still a little bit late, but it's just way too close to his body. And because of that, he had to kind of pull across himself and he had to arm the ball because he was too close to it. And now let's take a look at things from the back, and then we'll break things down and start to see if we can work out where things are going on. And again, we have to keep a little bit of context in mind. He is rallying, or he's playing points fed out of the hand, so the ball that's coming at him is very varied. It's not going to look like when me or another coach talks about technique on a ball machine. This is a real life situation, so we have to factor that in and not criticize everything that goes on. We have to focus on what it is that we can improve. And this one is an interesting one because he has got a lot of good intentions, but his good intentions are actually creating challenges for him. So he says that he's working on a split step, but he finds that he thinks about so many things during a match, and because of that he kind of forgets after a few attempts, and things fall apart. And what I'm going to say is that the timing of the split step, this is a new thing to him. He's getting the timing all wrong, and that's actually creating one of the big challenges for him. So on this particular ball, he's landing the split step too early, and he tends to have one of two errors. He either lands it too early. So here, he's landing it a little bit early. It's just leaving his opponent's racket, but not necessarily enough time for him to read the flight of the ball. And because he can't read where the ball's going yet, he has to do a second hop. So now he's landed from his second split step as the ball is crossing the net. So it doesn't leave him very much time. And because, if you look where the ball is there when he lands from his second hop, because it doesn't leave him much time, he's just not prepared in position in time. So in terms of his actual position, it's pretty good. Look at this nicely loaded back leg, fantastic position, lots of good stuff going on here. And he's actually got pretty good spacing as well. So a lot of people really struggle with the spacing on the high ball. And for someone who's only been playing 2 years, he's done a great job here. Yeah, maybe he could have been a fraction further away, but that's pretty good spacing. The problem was he just wasn't prepared in time. And because he wasn't prepared in time, he started the swing late. And he hits a reasonable quality shot on this ball here. So this is maybe one of his better shots. But if he really wants to advance that, and he wants to be able to hit that with more power on a more consistent basis, the timing is the problem to solve. And that means getting set up in position slightly sooner so that he can start his swing slightly sooner. If we look at the next shot on the rally, very similar thing. The ball is just there. He's landed with his right foot already, so he's already made contact. Isn't able to recognize where the ball's going yet because it hasn't gone anywhere. So he does this second hop that doesn't really do anything. So now he's landing, his left foot is landing for the second time as the ball crosses the net. And this one's just unfortunate. I think this one hits the net. That makes life very difficult. So he actually does okay at reacting to that and get into it. But the initial problem was timing the split step incorrectly. And that's okay because he's just started to focus on timing the split step. It really is a process that takes time to learn. That one, his opponent makes contact, the ball is there as he's landing. So that one's pretty good timing of the split step. He's able to react quickly and move immediately. Does a really good job getting to that ball and trying to get it back in play. This one, difficult situation. He probably needed to recover with more intensity to get back into position. Because he's not done that, he has not landed the split step at the right time. So this one is late. His opponent has made contact there. So he's taking off from his split step as his opponent's making contact on this one, which means he's landing from his split step way too late. That ball is crossing the net before he lands and starts to push off. Luckily, he is athletic and he's quite fast. So he does a really good job getting to this ball and getting a decent ball back in play. Now his opponent misses this shot. A better opponent is going to not miss that shot and is going to put him in difficulty. So here, although he did well, if his split step timing was better, he would have been able to get set up in a better position, and that's going to increase the likelihood that he's going to hit a good shot. So again, we're looking at that and going, that's the timing of the split step. Sometimes it's too early, sometimes it's too late. But for you watching this, it's really important to understand that you can't fix split step timing in 2 weeks. It's probably going to take a minimum of 6 months, maybe a year, to learn to do it well, because you have to consciously think about it over and over again. You have to turn the process of timing your split step into a habit, because then once it's a habit, and only then can it actually work in a match situation. So great intentions from him working on the split step, but it's just going to take time, and he just has to have a narrow focus, not get distracted by other stuff, and just really kind of dial it in and just prioritize his practice. Now, there is something else that's going to create difficulties for him, and that is his shot selection. So again, through good intentions, he is always trying to run around his backhand and hit a forehand. So on this one, he's tried to move around. He has done a reasonable job again in terms of the spacing. So this one definitely a little bit close. I was maybe a little bit mean on the last high one. This one is a little bit close. He needs to be just a little bit further away. But again, compared to most people who've been playing 2 years, he's doing a great job. It's just he wasn't there in time. He hadn't loaded his legs in time, so the ball is too far back when he starts his swing. So again, he's not going to be able to efficiently use his kinetic chain. And you can see the follow through looks a bit funky because he didn't make a clean contact. Again, I don't even know exactly where it lands, but it looks like a reasonable shot. But we're going to see it magnified on the next one. So boom, his opponent just making contact. He is landing from the split step. Can't read where the ball's going yet because it hasn't gone anywhere. So he has to do a second hop. He's landing from the second hop as the ball is crossing the net. And now he's made the decision that he wants to hit an inside-out forehand. And he just wasn't quick enough to get there. Although technically he did the split step. His movement looks good because he landed that second split step late and he's now decided to hit an inside-out forehand. He's going to end up not having enough time to create enough space, and he's way too close to that ball, and he's hitting the ball really late. So that one was partly timing of the split step, and it was partly shot selection, making it difficult for himself. But I think he is working on a lot of the right stuff. His own analysis has been good. What he has to understand and what everyone else has to understand is that getting better at tennis is an absolute process. You have to work through things in order. And he's identified the right things. He has identified that he wants to work on his split step. Now, we could argue after 2 years, maybe instead of doing a split step, he could just recover and he could be standing there in a wide, stable base, and he could be training himself to watch for that contact, trying to react more quickly, trying to go, is the ball high? Is the ball low? Are they hitting topspin? Are they hitting flat? How's the ball going to react off the court? So maybe he could not do the split step and he could just try and read the flight of the ball more quickly. But he obviously wants to be a higher level player. He's got good intentions. He's working on the split step. So you just got to understand it's a process. And for every opponent that you're playing, you have to think about trying to take off from the split step to land just after they've made contact. So you have to actually watch the shape of their swing and calibrate this to your opponent. And I'll leave a resource down in the description to help you with that side of things. So it's the timing of the split step, and then it's the thinking about the spacing. And something that's going to be important here is practicing at the right level of difficulty. So in a point situation, in a match situation, as he has figured out, there's so much stuff to think about, that's not the best time to practice. So he might need to work on his split step timing and his spacing in an easier situation. So maybe just rallying down the middle, rallying cross court, working on specific drills. If he's got a consistent practice partner, here you can see his partner's giving him weird and wonderful shots. And sometimes it's really hard to get good practice with an inconsistent partner because you can't get any rhythm and it's just too unpredictable. So luckily he works with a coach, so he can get his coach to feed him balls in easier situations so that he can practice the timing of the split step, and then he can work on different scenarios so that he can work on the spacing in different scenarios. So getting enough repetitions at the right level of difficulty to develop new habits, because once he's developed new habits, then this stuff is going to hold up in matches. So the big thing that I want him to know is that he's actually doing a really good job. His analysis is good. He's focusing on a lot of the right things. It's just about understanding that it's a process. After 2 years, that is not long playing tennis. He didn't grow up playing basketball or soccer or baseball or something else at a high level, so he hasn't seen millions of balls flying at him. So now he has to train his body, train his visual system so that he can react to things that are flying at him. And it takes time. So he's doing a lot of good stuff well. Stay focused on the good things that he's working on. Don't get distracted by, do I need to tweak my elbow with this? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? He's doing a really good job. The issue is reading the flight of the ball, timing the split step, and spacing. Yes, there's going to be a secondary consideration on timing, but you have to prioritize the preparation first. And then as you get that, that's going to naturally start to improve his timing. So that's how I would approach things from an on-court perspective, but always in tennis, we need to consider the physical ability side of things as well, because some of the recommendations I've just made, yes, you've got to work on things at the right level of difficulty, you've got to work on them for long enough, but you can only do those things at the level your body will allow. So at a certain point, your visual skills and your level of coordination are going to be the thing that restricts you. So if you really want to significantly change your tennis level, for a lot of people that means doing work on improving the underlying skill. And if you'd like to learn how to do that, that's one of the big things that I help players with. I teach them how to use brain-based training to improve eye to hand and eye to foot coordination so that you can read the flight of the ball, so you've got better coordination and you can make the necessary adjustments. If you'd like to learn how to do that, I'm holding a Neuro Tennis Challenge pretty soon. I'll place a link to it down in the description, or you can go to neurotennis.net/challenge to learn more and register. Okay, hopefully this video has been useful to you. If it has, as always, again, if you give me that thumbs up, it's much appreciated. Leave any comments or questions down below. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.